Tonight, a silent but growing crisis is gripping Europe's legendary auto industry, a sector that has long been the pride of the continent and a symbol of its economic might. Factories that once buzzed with activity now stand eerily quiet, their machines idle, their future uncertain. Production lines are slowing to a crawl, and in some cases, grinding to a complete halt. The hum of progress has been replaced by an uneasy silence, as workers and executives alike wonder what comes next. The culprit behind this disruption: a severe shortage of rare earth elements, those obscure but vital materials that most people rarely think about, yet are absolutely essential to the modern world. These rare earths, along with advanced microchips, form the backbone of today's automobiles. They're especially crucial for electric vehicles, powering everything from high-performance batteries to the magnets in electric motors and the sensors that make cars smarter and safer. Nearly all of these critical materials are sourced from China. As global tensions escalate and trade relations become more uncertain, Europe's access to these resources is suddenly in jeopardy, threatening the very foundation of its auto industry. In response, top EU officials are scrambling, holding urgent meetings and making direct appeals to Beijing, hoping to secure continued access to the lifeblood of their manufacturing sector. The stakes are enormous. Without a steady supply of rare earths and microchips, not only is the future of car manufacturing at risk, but so too is Europe's ambitious green transition, its plan to lead the world in clean energy and sustainable technology. This crisis is about far more than just business. It's about the livelihoods of millions of workers, the stability of entire communities, and the economic security of a continent. Europe's global standing as an industrial powerhouse hangs in the balance. Iconic automakers like Volkswagen and BMW have poured billions into the electric vehicle revolution, betting their futures on innovation and sustainability. But now, their ability to deliver on those promises depends on a supply chain they can't fully control. The current shortage has exposed a vulnerability created by decades of outsourcing and reliance on distant suppliers. What once seemed like a smart business move now looks like a dangerous gamble. As managers stare at empty shelves and halted production lines, the true cost of this dependency is becoming painfully clear. The question now is how quickly Europe can adapt, or if it's already too late. This is more than an economic challenge. It's a high-stakes geopolitical chess game, with industrial power and technological leadership as the ultimate prize. The decisions made in the coming months by politicians, business leaders, and diplomats will determine whether Europe can regain control of its destiny, or if it will be forced to watch from the sidelines as others shape the new world order. Tonight, the lights are flickering in the engine room of Europe's economy, casting long shadows over its industrial heartland. The world is watching to see if anyone can turn those lights back on, restoring hope. Sidi now, bedesuri now, sidiste bebilauti. Ident bedemu ko au gray and ans sadil. Before it's too late for Europe's auto giants and the millions who depend on them. Inside a cutting-edge automotive plant near Stuttgart, the future once seemed unstoppable. This was a place where precision engineering and relentless efficiency powered an industry that helped define modern Europe. But now, silence has replaced the usual hum of production. The familiar clatter of machines and the steady rhythm of assembly have faded, leaving an uneasy stillness in their wake. Sections of the assembly line are idle, missing key components like permanent magnets and chips. These aren't just minor delays. They're critical shortages that bring everything to a standstill. Workers, once busy, now face reduced hours and uncertainty. Their routines have been upended, and the sense of pride in their craft is now tinged with anxiety. Rumors of extended shutdowns circulate. Each new notice on the board brings fresh waves of concern, as families wonder how long their livelihoods will last. A veteran technician says delays now stretch for weeks, not days. He's seen downturns before, but never a disruption so widespread, so unpredictable. The factory manager spends his days searching for missing parts, knowing a single absent chip can halt the entire line. Every phone call, every email is a desperate attempt to keep production moving. Half-finished vehicles clog the floor, unsellable and taking up space. Each one represents lost revenue, mounting costs, and a growing backlog that threatens the company's future. The just-in-time manufacturing model, once a strength, is now a liability. What was designed for efficiency has become a source of fragility, exposing the risks of global supply chains. This scene repeats across Europe, France, Spain, Italy, the Czech Republic. Factories that once competed now share the same struggle, bound together by shortages and uncertainty. The ripple effects are massive. For every assembly job, several supplier jobs are at risk. The pain radiates outward, touching thousands of families and businesses. Smaller suppliers, lacking deep reserves, are hit first and hardest. Many are family-run, with generations invested in the industry, now facing the prospect of closure. Layoffs and closures threaten local economies. Each job lost means less spending in the community, more strain on social safety nets, and a growing sense of instability. The silence on the factory floor is the sound of an economic engine sputtering. It's a warning sign that the challenges are not just technical, but deeply human. The auto industry's pain is spreading far beyond the factory gates. Dealerships, transporters, and service centers all feel the impact as new cars become scarce and uncertainty grows. Europe's industrial heart is under siege. The continent's reputation for quality and innovation is being tested by forces beyond its control. The question: how long can it hold out? As global tensions ripple through local communities, the answer remains uncertain, and the stakes have never been higher. What exactly are rare earths? Despite the name, these 17 metallic elements aren't rare, but they're tough and costly to process. They're vital for high-performance magnets in EV motors, making cars lighter, more efficient, and powerful. Rare earths are also used in sensors, speakers, and catalytic converters. For decades, China took on the dirty, expensive work of mining and refining, while the West closed its own facilities. Now, China controls over 85% of global rare earth processing. This dominance gives Beijing enormous leverage over global industries. In the past, China has restricted exports during disputes. As tensions rise, Europe fears being cut off from these essential materials. This is a strategic dependency with huge consequences for Europe's auto industry. In Brussels, urgency has turned to crisis mode. EU leaders are making high-stakes diplomatic overtures to Beijing, seeking assurances on rare earth supplies. Publicly, they call for partnership. Privately, they plead for stability. The power dynamic is clear. China holds the cards. Meanwhile, the EU is scrambling to build strategic autonomy. Initiatives like the Critical Raw Materials Act aim to fast-track mining and processing within Europe. The goal: source more materials domestically by 2030. But new mines and refineries take years to develop. These long-term plans offer little help to factories idled today. For now, Europe's only option is to buy time through diplomacy. The race is on to rebuild capabilities lost to decades of outsourcing. Europe's industrial future depends on the outcome. The clock is ticking. The crisis ripples outward, threatening Europe's entire economic ecosystem. What began as a disruption in one sector quickly spreads, impacting not just the big automakers, but the very foundation of European industry. When automakers halt production, orders to hundreds of smaller suppliers stop too. These supply chains are deeply interconnected, so a single pause can send shockwaves through countless businesses, both large and small. Many of these are family businesses, vulnerable to even short shutdowns. For generations, these workshops have provided stable jobs and supported local economies, but now, uncertainty looms over their future. Layoffs and closures hit local communities hard, fraying the social fabric. The loss of a single factory can mean hundreds of families suddenly facing unemployment, with ripple effects on schools, shops, and services. Consumers feel the impact. New cars are scarce, prices are up, and wait times stretch for months. The dream of owning a new vehicle becomes more distant for many, as affordability and availability both decline. Dealerships have little to offer but apologies and long waiting lists. Sales teams struggle to meet demand, and customer frustration grows as promised delivery dates slip further away. Automakers may profit temporarily from scarcity, but risk losing customers to rivals with better supply chains. Loyalty is tested as buyers look elsewhere, sometimes even switching brands or considering imports. Chinese brands like BYD and Geely are seizing the opportunity to enter the European market. Their ability to deliver vehicles quickly and at competitive prices makes them increasingly attractive to frustrated buyers. Ironically, Europe's dependency on China is opening the door for Chinese automakers. As supply chains shift, the balance of power in the automotive world is changing before our eyes. The crisis is reshaping the competitive landscape. Market shares are in flux, and companies that once seemed unassailable now face real threats from new and agile competitors. Europe's dominance is no longer guaranteed. Industry leaders are forced to rethink strategies, invest in resilience, and confront the reality of a rapidly evolving market. The stakes are rising for everyone, from factory workers to car buyers. The choices made today will shape the future of Europe's automotive industry, and the livelihoods of millions depend on what happens next. The rare earth and chip struggle is now a front in a global conflict. Europe's relationship with China is fraught, vital trading partner, but also a systemic rival. Every move is scrutinized through a geopolitical lens. Efforts to build local supply chains are seen by Beijing as economic containment. China's export controls are viewed as coercion in Europe. The war in Ukraine and China's stance on Russia have deepened mistrust. CEOs are now diplomats, balancing business needs with political realities. Europe must secure its industry. Without triggering a trade war, it can't win. Europe's scientists and engineers are racing to break the rare earth dependency. Automakers like BMW and Renault are developing motors that use no rare earths, relying on copper coils instead. These new designs are becoming more efficient and cost-effective. Meanwhile, recycling is gaining momentum. Old electronics and EVs are now urban mines for rare earths. Advanced processes are being developed to extract and reuse these materials. The EU is funding pilot plants and pushing for a circular economy. While still small-scale, these innovations could turn Europe's vulnerability into a strength. Necessity is driving a new wave of sustainable technology. As rare earths run short, Europe's auto industry faces another blow, a crippling chip shortage. Modern cars need thousands of chips, but Europe relies on Asia, especially Taiwan and South Korea, for the most advanced ones. Pandemic disruptions and surging demand left automakers at the back of the line. The chip crisis is now a matter of national security, with fears of conflict in Taiwan threatening global supply. The EU's CHIPS Act aims to double Europe's share of chip production by 2030, luring giants like Intel and TSMC to build local fabs. But new factories take years and billions to build. For now, production managers must ration what little they have. The road to technological sovereignty is long and urgent. Europe stands at a crossroads. One path leads to decline, continued dependency, eroding industry, and lost jobs. The other demands massive investment in domestic supply chains, new technologies, and strategic autonomy. It means accepting higher costs and tough choices to rebuild Europe's industrial base. The CHIPS Act and Critical Raw Materials Act are just the beginning. This crisis is a wake-up call, exposing the risks of prioritizing short-term savings over long-term resilience. The response will test the EU's unity and resolve. The future of the European car and Europe's economic identity is on the line. The decisions made now will echo for generations. The road ahead is uncertain, but the stakes could not be higher.